Gajewski. We've enjoyed your company so much. You've made great progress with us, and this is something we love to do. So let's talk about results. I know you talked about that a little bit here, but so what results have you achieved overall with your body?
Well, I've lost weight. It's about 15 pounds probably from starting, which is, when you think of a 15-pound roast, it's a good size. Just even inches have made a difference.
Have you down like 12 inches?
Yeah. So 12 or
inches.
13 inches from the last scan from the original. It's
That's
so
phenomenal.
it's little bits here and there, but it all adds up, and it does make a big difference. I mean, I see it in my face a lot. Like, I'll look at old pictures and then I look at like recent, and I'll be like, oh, like my face was a little more rounder. It's not so round anymore. Like, I feel it in here, and again, just feeling better, just having more energy. And not being tired, not being dragged down. I think those are the big successes that I'm feeling right now.
Absolutely. How else would you say it's benefited your life? Like, what's different for you now?
I work more.
Has more energy, right?
I mean, I can't even say, I think I've always been an upbeat, positive person. So that's always been there for me. So I think, but it just, when you, like you said, when you feel better, when your body feels better. I mean, I have some knee issues, I have arthritis issues, but again, losing the weight, losing the inches supports that, so that helps. It doesn't solve my problem, it doesn't make arthritis go away or whatever, but when you're not carrying those extra inches or weight, I think it makes a big difference. So I just think feeling good about yourself, like not being afraid to step out or put something on or go somewhere, because now you feel better. And even though you may not be this skinny person, or I haven't lost all the weight, I still feel better when I walk into a room that I'm confident in myself. More so than I would have been a year ago or something before I started here.
That's amazing. So a noticeable mental shift.
Yes, definitely. Mental, emotionally, that's what makes you, you just start, again, I think it's all about looking forward, not looking back. And even if you, like I said, I got on the scale this morning and I'm up a couple pounds, but I know I ate a lot of ham, and you eat scalloped potatoes at grandma's house, but I'm like, I got on it and I'm like, you know what? In a couple days when I'm back on track,
I know what to do.
That'll be fine. Like, I don't beat myself up over something like that. I'm like, you know what you need to do. And everybody loves January 1st, of course, because that's we all start again. But that's just, it's not like I got depressed or emotionally down, like, oh my God, I was up 2.5 pounds. Like, I'm like, you know what? This is what happened, but you move on. And so I think that makes a big difference, that I'm not beating myself up over choices that I made that I knew at the time probably were not the best choices, but I was like, oh, you know what? I'll straighten this out down the road.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt about it.
And that's beautiful, because again, it's like we all want to have our cake and eat it too, and we're all trying to figure out how to do it, and you're doing it, and that's really how this entire thing was formulated, is how do we give people real life, but also get the results that we want as well.
Right.
So it's beautiful to hear that you did that, you had your cake, so to speak, and you looked at it and you said, I know what to do.
Yeah.
All I have to do is what I've been doing, and there you go. And
you just shift it back.
That's huge, because I went through a lot of time myself personally where I would go up that 2 pounds, in my journey, and I'd be like, oh my God, and I'd freak out, and I'd be like, what I'm doing is wrong, as opposed to trusting the system. And then as I matured and went through it, like you said, you follow it, and
it'll happen, and it works. And I think a lot of times too, what I would do sometimes is when I would gain that weight, I'd be like, oh, the hell with it. And then you would really emotionally, I would emotionally eat that. And I'm like, what difference does it make? I'm going to now eat this and that and this, and I'm not going to watch, because look at what happened. I don't do that anymore. I just okay, here's where you are, and you know where you're headed, where your journey needs to be. So, okay, life goes on, and you just get back on track.
That's empowering.
So I think that's really where this program has helped me to not backslide continuously, or decide that once you backslide a little bit, that's it, forget it.
Yes.
I can still move forward.
Absolutely. And you've accomplished a lot. You really have. You've implemented so many different principles and strategies, and you've kept consistent on that. What would you say that you're most proud of?
I think really just learning how to make smart choices and losing the inches. I think at this stage of my life, even the poundage, if it's not there, but the inches, because that's what makes me feel comfortable. When I can put on that pair of slacks or put on that dress and it just looks nicer. So I think that's what, even if I say, okay, I may not be the weight I want, but the inches are gone, which just makes me, I mean, some people would say, when I tell them what I weigh, people are like, what? Like they wouldn't think I weighed what I weigh. And so, and I mean, I don't even let my husband see what I weigh, or if I go into a doctor's office, I'm like, no, I'll pass on this. But yet people look at me, if I get on a scale, you know, a nurse might say, oh my God, I would have never thought that's what you weighed. Yeah. So I think it's that shrinkage, like your body, those little inches, shaping better. I think that's what I'm proud of, that I can put something on and have that shape for a 67-year-old woman and still look pretty darn good.
That is great. That is great. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. If it lights you up, that's it. Because then you can light up the world. You know, at the end of the day. That's beautiful. So would you recommend the Sailing Center to other people?
Oh yes, absolutely. When I have told some friends about it and told people about it, and actually I've seen 2 of my friends here. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's something people have to consider. I do want to say honestly, and I know they'd ask me for referrals, I have some people who won't spend the money.
Yeah.
They really won't. Sure. I mean, you know, it's an investment. You're making an investment in your body. And I know people who would love to, but would never invest.
Sure.
Which you try to convince people, but everybody's got their own thoughts on how to do it. But as far as anybody who feels like, you know what, this is worth it and I'm going to make this investment in myself, definitely is a program that I would recommend for people.
Totally. Yeah, and of course, you know, that is what stops most people, you know, because if it was like, here, if this was zero investment, would you do it? Yes, you know, so it's not about the investment, you know what I mean? So, and that is what stops people because, you know, of course, if I could be like, well, if I snap my fingers, you get the result, you'd want the result, right? And of course, the answer is always yes, so it comes down to the investment. So I guess what would be your advice to those who want the result and the only thing that's actually standing in their way is this investment in themselves?
Oh, that's a tough one because some people, I mean, times are hard now and people are struggling even just financially to do things. I mean, I guess I would just try to let them know that if they really took the time to add up maybe where they're spending funds, to say if that was being spent towards taking care of yourself versus Starbucks, fast food, whatever, those other things, that people took the time to really say, you know, they're like, I don't want to spend the money on this, but then when you start looking at where you are spending your money, is that really in your best interest, or are there ways that you could work that out where that some of those funds could go investing into yourself? Because I think we don't think about it if you run through Starbucks and spend $8 3 times a week on your way to work, or 4 times a week some people do, and they're like, oh, but when you actually look at that and say, oh, I've just spent $50 a week on fast food or on whatever, where if I put that money into a plan where I'd be taking care of myself, the ends are much better of what the results are better, what you're gonna see there. So I think that's the advice I would give to people. It's almost like anything, whether you're doing a budget or a diet, if you start logging things and looking where your funds are going, find a way to invest in yourself. It's worth it. I mean, I had a whole bunch of clothes I wasn't wearing that I spent a lot of money on, and now I can wear those clothes. So I see that as an investment also, and that's what I would tell people to do, that you've got to really decide. I mean, and my friends are all my age and older, and health, a lot of things kick in at this age if you don't take care of yourself. You know, how many find out they're borderline diabetic or fall into things, and so it's maybe time to invest in yourself instead of spending it on things that don't count, or on people, other people, gifts, presents, whatever. Why don't you take some time and invest it in yourself and at least try it? That would be my advice.
Totally. That's empowering. You know, it just makes me, I'm thinking of several things when you were speaking about that. And one thing that, this was a mentor of mine when I first got into like health and wellness and I first got into body transformation. I heard him say to a patient, he said, well, you're either going to pay for it now or you're going to pay for it later. You know what I mean? In ways that you don't want to.
Right.
Through medication and through
co-pays, going to the doctors and all that.
Procedures and so on and so forth. You know, because health. I mean, you know, like I said, I'm turning 45 and you say I'm young, but in my mind I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, okay, how do I keep this and not lose this and have to refight this, because then it's quality, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. Other than, okay, now I had my Starbucks every day, but my quality's not there, and now I have to kind of do it all over again or something, you know what I mean?
No, you're right. And I see people that are my age, even people that I graduated from high school with, you know, right, and some of them I look at, and it's sad, I'm not saying that I'm judgmental, but I'll look and be like, whoa, you could tell they didn't take care of themselves. I mean, I'll look at them and think, oh my God, we're the same age. And, you know, people say, really? Like, my husband will even say, like, you went to high school with her? Like, she looks 10 years older than you. You know, and it's more about not taking care of yourself. And so I think, you know, that investment emotionally, psychologically, and even physically is so important at any, like you said, you got to look at it at 45. I mean, I've been looking at it through my life, but finding what you're comfortable with, where you feel good about yourself, and knowing that. I mean, my parents lived till they were 93, God love them. I hope to live that long too, and they were good. They walked, they talked. I mean, they were fairly, very healthy for that age. That's what I hope. So I figure if I maintain myself and keep tabs of myself physically, I can live to 93 and be, you know, not using a wheelchair, that I can actually be walking till I'm 93, which, both my parents did.
That's amazing. Yeah, because the other side of that, if you live till 93 and you don't have the quality,
that's right. Then what?
What's the point?
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
None of us want that. I think anyone who's ever going to see
that. You see
like,
people who are 100 that are still real bright, and I'm like, wow, that's worth it. But then when you walk through a nursing home and you see someone, you're like, that's not the quality of life that I would want for myself or a family member. So that's why I think it's important to take care of myself now.
And what if someone were, let's just say someone was hesitant, you know, and they've tried several things, they were on the fence, right? You know, get a situation like you. Tried several things, they were on the fence, contemplative, and just kind of more hesitant, I guess you'd say. What would be your advice to them?
I think you have to try it. I think first of all, when you see a treatment and, you know, you can see some changes even instantly, you know, in a very short amount of time, I think I would just tell people to try it. And what do you got to lose, I guess I see. You're certainly not going to walk out of here heavier, or you're not going to gain inches. So I think that's where I would just say it's one of those things that you just try it. I mean, I think that's where maybe trials are nice. Like, I think if you get people in at a reasonable amount and say, okay, let's just try this for 6 treatments or something like that at this rate. I think when people start to see those results happening, that motivates people to say, you know what, I want to keep going with this. I don't want to stop now. So I think that would be even my advice to you is that, you know, whether people, because I think that's the biggest thing. If people hear the dollar amount, sometimes it scares them. But if you can start to see the results in a short amount of time, I think that's a huge incentive for people to say it's worth making an investment.
Totally.
Because I've seen it. I see it happen after, you know, 3 treatments, 6 treatments, whatever, a short amount of time. But I'm seeing something happening. Okay, I don't want to stop this. I want to keep going. So that's what I would tell people. Try it. Just give it a try.
Yeah, great. Great. Got nothing to lose but inches.
That's right. Inches and pounds.
Yeah, right? So, any other tips or insights that you could give? Anything that just helps you stay motivated and committed?
I come in twice a week, so that's motivating itself because again, the staff here is amazing and it's just very upbeat. So I think that keeps my motivation going. And just seeing the monthly scans are fabulous because it really does. You kind of lose track of your results, but then when you see that, you actually physically see the results. I think those are my 2 biggest things. The people here and actually physically seeing a scan shows me that the program's working. And that's what I look at.
Love it. And I'd love to hear, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but your future goals. So what are your future goals that you're working on now? Where is Janet's mind? Where is your mindset at? Like you said, I'd like to lose a little bit more, or maybe inches, whatever. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I would still like to lose a little more. I've been down another 10 or 12 pounds even on my starvation diet, where I felt good. I wasn't like bone skinny, but I felt good. It was good for me. So I'd like to get back on track and really start. I'd like to lose another 10.
Right.
I just think that's a comfortable level for me. And I would like to just continue to see some toning, because I want to be able to, I don't really wear shorts, but capris, if I put on a bathing suit, I don't want to feel self-conscious where I have to put a towel because I'm feeling like, oh, my legs are a little ripply or my stomach's ripply. So I'd like to see a little more toning to keep up with toning, and to drop probably another 10 pounds. Like, those are really my goals.
Awesome. We're going to get it done.
I hope
We're going to
so.
get it done, Janet. No, thank you so much for your time and for your openness, and for sharing, and congratulations, so
Thanks.
far on your amazing progress, and appreciate you greatly. We love having you here.
Thanks.
Thank you.